Ever get that feeling, where you want to say something, but the words just like disappear? Today, we're diving deep into a story about overcoming that. Gerard Basimwa, he went from struggling with basic English to becoming a mentor. Can you believe it?
Wow.
It's about how we can all transform, no matter where we begin.
It is. And what gets me is how relatable Gerard's journey is. Plenty of us hit that wall in language learning.
Totally. It's like you're doing all the right things. Classes, exercises, maybe even ace that grammar test. But then,
Real life hits you with a conversation, and it's like starting from scratch again.
exactly. Gerard's story shows that knowing the rules and actually using a language are two different things.
Right. He started young, elementary school, but just basic stuff.
And then, get this, no English classes at all in middle school. Makes you think, how much further ahead could we be with a bit more consistency early on?
I know, right? It's like they missed a huge opportunity. And for Gerard, that gap really seemed to have an effect. High school, he got back into English, but it was all grammar, vocabulary lists, you know the drill.
Not much actual speaking or listening, though.
Sadly, that's something I hear so often from learners. It's like traditional education sometimes misses the point. It's about communication, not just ticking boxes.
That's so true.
Hmm.
And get this, Gerard finishes high school, goes to university, studies geology, something he was really into. But even there, spoken English wasn't a big thing.
You'd think in our globalized world, unis would make sure you can actually talk to people, you know?
It's like these specialized fields, which are super important, they kind of create language barriers without meaning to. What do you think?
Spot on. But back to Gerard. This whole thing really hit him at this event, the Forum du Jeune. Imagine a global meetup, people from everywhere, cultures, conversations, like the perfect place to connect, right?
Sounds amazing. What happened?
Well, for Gerard, it became this huge wake-up call. Tries to chat with these two women speaking English, and let's just say it crashed and burned.
Oh no, I can picture it. That feeling of stumbling over words, feeling self-conscious.
And that's the thing, right? Surrounded by this vibrant community, but the language is a barrier. Must have been so disheartening.
For sure. But wasn't this a turning point for Gerard? They say sometimes you got to hit rock bottom.
Exactly. As tough as it was, it kicked off his incredible language journey. He realized knowing the rules wasn't enough. He needed to use English confidently.
Like having a treasure chest full of gold but no key, all that potential. But how do you unlock it?
Perfect analogy. And that's what we'll uncover in the next part, how Gerard went from feeling defeated to finding his own keys to fluency. Stay tuned.
And that's what's so inspiring. Instead of letting that forum experience get him down, Gerard used it as motivation, to really level up his English.
Totally. Talk about mindset, right? Turning what felt like a failure into this chance to grow.
Right. He knew he had to bridge that gap, the one between knowing English on paper and using it in real life. So he dives into researching language learning methods, and that's where he finds immersion.
Immersion, everyone's talking about it, but what does it actually look like? Especially if you're not living in, say, an English-speaking country.
Such a good question. For Gerard, it was about making English a constant thing, even without native speakers around him all the time. Started simple, switched all his devices, phone, computer, even social media, all to English.
Love it. Small change, but you're surrounded by the language all of a sudden.
Exactly, and he didn't stop there. He dove into English media, books, movies, shows, music, the whole works.
His own little English bubble, even if he's physically somewhere else.
Exactly, and here's the cool part. There's actually science behind this. Immersion isn't just memorizing, it's like rewiring your brain to get the language.
Just like kids do, right? They don't start with grammar books, they just absorb it naturally.
And the thing is, our brains keep that ability to learn like that. The immersion is tapping back into it.
Reminds me of when I tried learning Italian. Use this app, stories, listen during my commute. I was shocked at how quickly I picked stuff up.
It's amazing what those little consistent habits can do. And Gerard's story shows us something else important. Finding resources that click with how you learn best.
He wasn't just passively immersing, was he? He went looking for tools that worked for him.
Exactly. One of the biggest things for him was this YouTube channel, all about English listening practice. And it was the structure that made it work so well.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, they had different levels, beginner to advanced. So you could start where it was challenging, but not impossible, and then work your way up.
Makes sense, that scaffolding idea, right? You don't want to get demotivated, but you don't want to be bored either.
Right. And for Gerard, this channel was perfect. He could focus on his listening, get more confident, all at his own speed.
When I was learning Spanish, I tried jumping into movies without subtitles. Total disaster. Then I found this podcast for learners, transcripts, explanations. That's when I really started to get it.
It's all about finding what fits, right?
Mm.
And Gerard's story also shows how important that human connection is.
He didn't just stick to solo learning, did he?
No way. He wanted to talk with native speakers. And this is where things get really cool.
Right.
Like he knew to really get it, he had to just talk to people. That's when he found conversationexchange.com. Ever heard of it?
Yeah, it's great. Connects language learners, right? So they can practice together. It's win-win. You improve your speaking and you learn about different cultures too.
Exactly. And for Gerard, it was huge. He met this woman from the U.S., they had some shared interests, and they started having these video calls talking about anything and everything.
I love that. It's one thing to use flashcards and apps, but real conversations, that's where it's at. Did he say how those conversations made him feel?
He did. He said it totally changed how he saw English. Before it was this big, scary subject. But talking to her, it became this way to connect, share stories, laugh. It made it real, in a way textbooks never could.
Like reading about a place versus actually going there, right?
Totally. And get this, not only did his fluency get better, but they became friends. It's true what they say. Learning a language opens up a whole new world.
And he's come such a long way from that forum event where he felt so stuck. He embraced the awkwardness, put himself out there, and not only did his English improve, he got so much more out of it.
He did. So where is he now in his language learning? I think he was aiming for B1 level, right?
He blew past that. He's at B1 now, shooting for C1 in listening and writing, and B2 in speaking and reading, even thinking about the IELTS exam. Remember, this is someone who, not that long ago, felt like he couldn't even put his sentence together.
That's incredible. Shows you what you can do with the right attitude, the right methods, and a little help. It's encouraging for anyone who's maybe feeling stuck themselves.
Absolutely. Oh, and one more thing about Gerard's story that I think really brings it all home.
Ooh, tell me.
Remember how, after seeing how life-changing learning a language could be, he became so passionate about helping others?
Yeah.
Well, he's a mentor now for other English learners.
No way. That's amazing. Talk about turning your passion into something that gives back.
Right. And I love how it's come full circle. By teaching, he's not only making his own understanding even stronger, he's inspiring a whole new group of learners to discover the power of communication.
The best way to learn is to teach, right? When we share what we know, we help others, but we also understand it on a deeper level ourselves. Gerard's story really proves that.
It does. So to wrap things up, if you take away just one thing today, let it be this. Learning is a journey, not a destination. Embrace the highs and the lows, find what clicks for you, and never underestimate what connecting with others can do. Who knows, you might even inspire someone else along the way, just like Gerard did.
Thank you so much everybody for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so that I can help you improve your English and become fluent when you speak English. Thank you so much. Bye bye.